Hello, everyone. Our presentation is on coronavirus and sporting events. It was made by Dalton Ciperta, Alex Scaly, Nick Stebar, and Julia Jorns. So for a quick little introduction, we're going to talk about this disease that we're dealing with, known as COVID-19. So COVID-19 is a disease caused by a new coronavirus that came from Wuhan, China in December of 2019. Some of the symptoms include cough, fever, shortness of breath, muscle aches, sore throat, unexplained loss of taste or smell, diarrhea, and headache. More than 4 million people around the world have tested positive for COVID-19, and there have been around 277,000 deaths. Due to how dangerous the virus is, many businesses around the world have been shut down and people are forced to work at home, and some are even jobless. This includes the majority of sporting events where athletes' seasons have been cut short.
March 11th and 12th are 2 days that sports fans will never forget, not because there's a major upset or their favorite NBA players go to a new career high, but because that was the beginning of sports being canceled and seasons cut short or not even beginning at all. The NBA suspended their season indefinitely after the game between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Utah Jazz on March 11th had their game canceled just minutes before tip-off. Hours later, Rudy Gobert for the Utah Jazz was said to have tested positive for COVID-19. The first thought was to continue the NBA season without fans, but so far that hasn't even happened. Players took to social media to share their reactions as well. March 12th was the day where essentially every sports league shut down, from the NBA G League to professional soccer to NCAA conference tournaments being canceled one by one. Then came school closures as well as an end to seasons for many college athletes, some before their seasons even really began, and cutting those college careers short for the seniors on those teams. It was thought that MLB opening day would only be postponed by 2 weeks. Spring training was about to wrap up when the rest of the season was canceled, leaving several hundred fans who had traveled hundreds of miles to return home without having seen their favorite team play before the regular season would even start. With conference tournaments canceled, it was also inevitable that the March Madness wouldn't happen either.
Here are the current plans for reopening sporting events. The first sport to reopen was UFC on May 9th. The fight was held without fans to prevent potential risks of COVID-19. The NBA has discussed multiple ideas on how to reopen the league. However, nothing has been decided yet. The MLB says they're expected to include a roughly 80 games regular season, a geographically compact schedule, and expanded playoffs, use of the designated hitter in both leagues, and games played in empty stadiums at the team's regular ballparks. They're hoping for this to take place between the months of July, August, and September. Other sporting events plans include Major League Soccer, where players started training again in team facilities on May 6th. June 8th is set for the earliest date the games could start back up. The American Hockey League has canceled the rest of their season. There will be no playoffs for the first time in their 84-year history. March Madness is canceled for the 2019-2020 season. No reports to reschedule it so far have been made. The NFL is expecting to continue the 2020-2021 season as expected. There may be a ticket refund policy if games will be played without fans. The NHL 2019-2020 season is still paused, but not canceled. Returning play without fans is the most likely option. Lastly, the PGA Tour is expected to return with its first event from July 9th through the 12th. These events are the Charles Schwab Challenge, RBC Heritage, Travelers Championship, and Rocket Mortgage Championship.
Because of coronavirus, there's a lot of loss in revenue and financial impact among many pro sports leagues, teams, and individual players. Elite sports funding body UK Sports is looking for a one-year rollover of government financing understood to amount to an extra $53.4 million for the period from April 1st, 2021 to March 31st, 2022. The English Football League chairman, Rick Perry, warned the Digital Culture, Media, and Sports Committee that the 71 clubs in his competition were facing a $200 million financial hole by the end of September. The Spanish Football Federation is making $500 million in loans available to La Liga to help La Liga and Segunda Division clubs that run into financial difficulties, the Press Association has reported. Other financial impacts include 500 Australian rugby players in the NRL have to take pay cuts up to 87%, according to the Guardian newspaper over there. Yonhap News Agency reported that the South Korean Football Federation, or the KFA, is cutting salaries for its senior executives by 20% from this month on forward.
Relating to class topics. COVID-19 has affected the way business has to be made throughout the entire world. Nearly all companies and owners have to figure out a new system or a new way for their business to survive during these difficult times. This includes the world of sports, where managers, coaches, and players have to adapt and find the best way to approach this hard situation to maintain success in the future. Sports organizations have made protocol for their team members to follow in order to ensure this future success, such as quarantining and social distancing. This is the same kind of leadership that goes down on the court, field, or whatever it is that you may play your sport on. This pandemic is bringing out the best and worst out of sports managers as they have to think for the future and act accordingly now in the present. And in conclusion, many sporting events has said that they will need to find a vaccine before things can start looking normal again. There will need to continue safety measures like limiting seating, social distancing, and even games with no fans at all in some cases. This pandemic is causing financial loss on the sports world, making adjustments nearly required. Testing for athletes, coaches, and referees may be necessary for games to go on as planned. And as a group, we think they're taking the right steps to flatten the curve and prevent even more cases.
So for some class interaction with you guys, we wanted to ask, how would you handle the opening of sporting events? Do you think that leagues have done a good job, or are there things that you would do differently? Please reply in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.